Good afternoon, members of the Association of Caribbean Commissioners of Police, esteemed commissioners, and others specially invited guests. All protocols are observed. I am happy to be standing here in front of you today to address a few areas of the ACCP Forensic Support Program and reinforce ASSL and its special purpose Caribbean Forensic Services' ability to provide forensics products and services throughout a wide discipline within the region. I would first like to report on the Forensic Support Program and the delivery of our free forensic kits to each respective island. Since its inception less than 1 year ago, we received a number of registrations in the Forensic Support Program and have since delivered on over half of the subscribed kits, with the remaining customized kits expected to be delivered before year's end. To date, the forensic kits that were delivered were received with great appreciation, and we hope to follow up with the effectiveness and usefulness of these kits in the collection, packaging, and preservation of evidence critical for the forensic process. We must make special mention to those commissioners who have received their kits for making this happen and providing the support, allowing the end users to be present to receive these kits, and the platform for handing over with media coverage. We look forward to the remaining and future presentations. Anyone who has not done so already and wishes to sign up for the kit can see me throughout the conference, and I would be happy to assist in the kit selection. It would be remiss of me not to take this opportunity to mention some general observations that I have made while traveling and interacting with various forensic departments within the region. These are merely my limited observations and not intended to offend any department, but highlight areas that can allow us to develop and better techniques and results. There's a clear lack of resources and financial budgets across many forensic disciplines. We all know this, and it's not unique to forensics, but law enforcement generally. This means that we must work together to become more efficient. We need to develop our systems to deal with information sharing and database development across islands. Sharing and utilization of expensive equipment and technology when not needed or used regularly by one particular agency. Bulk ordering and distribution of consumables within the region are among just a few, as well as many other initiatives that you may already be trying to implement. But it is clear that we must come together to increase our efficiency in times with limited resources and funding. It is often easy to overlook how forensic science can help in this efficiency, as the immediate impression is often that equipment will be too expensive. We don't have the funds for that. If only we had that technology. We can't wait for approval for that testing. Many comments which you may be familiar with. But I invite you to take a step back and look at the wider picture. Yes, there will be an upfront cost associated with some of the forensic techniques. But what about the time, the effectiveness, and the end result? There is a cost associated to those aspects, as well as the forensic science can help reduce and eliminate some of these, and it is quite significant. Not to mention the reduced cost by utilizing some of a common lab that can be shared across agencies where economies of scale permit. Think about the time and effort an investigator may spend trying to find a suspect that perhaps a forensic technique can easily help identify within minutes or hours. Is there not a cost associated to that investigator's time and the resources expelled by the department into the case? Surely you can see where I'm coming from and going. And they say, time is money, and we cannot get back time. So think about the cost as opposed to the upfront cost, and not to mention, more than likely, a higher success rate and greater evidentiary value. Now, please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Irregardless of forensic evidence, we still need good investigative work to close any case. It is sometimes difficult to look beyond our current casework as we are overloaded, put under pressure by media and the citizens for immediate results, and as a reaction, expend more human resources, and which may not always bring about the end result we are looking for. We must look to develop and utilize science to help us catch and ultimately convict persons guilty of committing a crime. Another area that I have encountered within the region is regards the collection and preservation of evidence. And I think it is important to note most departments do a good job in the chain of custody and documentation process. However, we must be mindful throughout the process that sometimes we may not always see or identify critical, valuable evidence while processing a crime scene. Ultimately, it is the goal of a CSI to do that. But the reality is that many times we process a crime scene, identify what we think at that time is the most valuable evidence, and we focus on those items only to find out later in the case that the items we are focused on have the least evidentiary value or unmatchable to items collected from the suspect. What I am trying to say is that we must analyze, collect, and preserve all the evidence in a manner that we can use afterwards, that we can look and re-examine based on new information and new leads. Far too often I encounter similar situations where, when reviewing the crime scene photos, we see evidence that has been documented but not collected, preserved, or properly stored properly because at the time it was not thought valuable. These items are often the missing piece of the puzzle, and for a forensic scientist, and ultimately a successful end result. Within the Caribbean, we have many officers and forensic technicians who do a great job with their limited resources. Many of the forensic scientists or law enforcement agencies are aware of the latest technologies, but some of them do not have access to it. Hopefully, we at Caribbean Forensic Services can help bridge that gap in terms of the forensic services while keeping the budget restraints in mind and working towards helping develop each country's in-house capabilities. This is important for us to address both the current needs as well as the future development and training. We are happy to assist and can supply a wide range of forensic products and services. Please feel free to talk to me about any forensic product or service or technology throughout the conference, as I'll be here for this day. And do enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you, and I hand you over to Mr. Edgar Aboud, Director, Chief Special Services Officer.